What is going on, YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this, my Hot Topics and Social Commentary Live. We are live Thursday night. Thank y'all so much for being with me. I appreciate and love you all for watching. I really, really do. There will be no JoJo Speaks without you guys, the viewers. So thank y'all so much for watching. A couple things I want you guys to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Takes less than a second to match that thing, y'all. So why don't you go ahead and match it for a brother? Also, be sure to give my videos a thumbs up. All of my videos a thumbs up, not just this one, but try to go through my videos and give them a thumbs up. I'm really trying to get up on this algorithm, guys. Also, be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the hot topics that we are discussing on tonight and the social commentary, if there be one tonight. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Last but not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know that JoJo Speaks is out here in these Housewives of Atlanta. I believe it was season 16, episode 12, if I'm not mistaken. So be sure to go onto my channel and check that video out. Again, my review for Housewives of Atlanta, the most recent episode. We will be touching on the Real Housewives tonight. But my full review is up on my channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. It's been raining quite a bit down here in Columbia, South Carolina this week. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I'm not the biggest fan of rain. Gloomy days are not my favorite, but hey, it is what it is. And for those of you guys who are making comments, we will get to your comments as soon as Jennifer joins us in the room, guys. So just please be patient with me as we wait for Jennifer. But I did want to mention the American Music Awards took place this week, and Janet performed, and she received the Icon Award. And so Janet performed two songs. She performed "Someone to Call My Lover" as well as "All for You." I loved her outfit and her hair. It was giving, real bad bitch vibes. You know what I'm saying, with the jeans and the oversized jeans and the oversized like hoodie or sweatshirt. I thought it was really cute. However, although I do love Janet, y'all know Janet is one of my faves. I really can't pick one fave artist, but she's one of my faves since 1998 when I first heard I Get Lonely and saw the Velvet Rope Tour on ABC Family. I was a little disappointed that she performed "Someone to Call My Lover." And that's mainly because I never really cared for that song, to be honest. And for me, at least in my opinion, it's not really one of her biggest hits. And so I was very surprised that she performed that song, but I'm assuming that she performed it because she loves that song herself, and that might be one of her favorite songs. And so, shout out to Janet for doing her thing. She did perform "All for You" as well with some new choreography. I will say though, it is saddening to me just a little bit to not see Janet as she used to be. You know what I'm saying? But that's what comes with age. She's a little older, you know what I'm saying? So she's not pop locking and dropping like she used to back in the 90s. So it is what it is. But I'm so glad that she is still out there. I went to see Janet live in Columbia, South Carolina. I believe it was 2 years ago now, for one of her tours. I was so surprised that she came to Columbia, but she did all of her hits. And I went with my best friend Lenora. Shout out to Lenora, my good Judy. It was an amazing time. We had so much fun. So shout out to Janet for winning the Icon Award. It was definitely deserved. So shout out to her for that. And I just wanted to mention really quick, I saw a video on Instagram earlier this week of Amber Rose advocating for Tory Lanez's release. And she said that she spoke to Tory. And, I know that it seems like we're beating this story with a horse, but I just wanted to say, it's so interesting to me that all of this evidence and all of these accusations and all of this stuff is coming out after conviction and after sentencing. Oh, he needs to be pardoned by Governor Newsom. It's crazy to me, but it is what it is. Genesita, she is here. What's going on, boo?
Hello, I am here and happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy to see you, my love.
It's marvelous to be seen.
Absolutely.
Praise God in the heavens.
Praise him. I saw a reaction of Diary of a Mad Black Woman on YouTube, and when Medea was talking about her piece, just whip it out, and there will be peace. Oh, hey, thank you. Just sends me every time.
Peace.
And peace, and it's just amazing to me that the church community supported a man dressing in drag to play a character. Like, to me, like that's still crazy to me that he got so big off of playing a woman. And you know how a lot of times there's a lot of backlash when it comes to certain things like that, and you know, things of a drag nature. But I guess, you know, as long as he's not coming out as part of the LGBTQIA plus community, it's cool with us. Just make us laugh, okay? But you know, hey, anyways,
And
it
also
is.
it's because the things that he was saying, as well as um we entertain a lot of the LGBTQIA in the church. Okay.
Yes,
Though we may
absolutely.
not talk about it, though people may feel away, though people may not feel away. Um, Ciao. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Dustin's here.
Hey, Dustin, thank you so much for coming, boo.
Miss Kim. She says hi, Jonathan.
Greetings and salutations, Miss Kim. Love you for watching. Thank you so much for being here.
Miss Nana.
Hi, Miss Nana. So glad to see your beautiful face tonight. Yes.
Gorgeous. Miss Kim says Janet did that. Performance was fire. Someone to call my lover went viral on TikTok. Yes, for weeks, and actually has charted again. I'm gonna tell you,
All right.
TikTok be making hits come back
Right.
out of
It does.
nowhere. But yeah, like the part that they keep on doing is maybe we'll meet at a bar and find a funky
Okay,
card.
car.
Yeah, they
Maybe
do a
we'll
little.
meet at a club and fall so deeply in love. He'll tell me I'm the one.
Jermaine Dupri did that.
He did.
I'm thinking about making a Jermaine Dupri mix. Anyway, um,
Hey,
Robin
Auntie
says,
Robin.
"Ciao."
Hey, Auntie
Hey.
Robin. So glad you're here, boo.
She made sure to say hi to Dustin as well as to Miss Kim, and Miss Kim says, "Hey, Jen. Hey, hey. Look, I'm glowing. Look at this.
She is. She's glowing. Ow.
I blame Korean beauty. I have like a serum, a whole bunch of serums with an S.
Can we
That
keep the comments up that big on the screen from now on? I like that size.
you heard
Or
that,
is it?
Tyrone?
Because actually, I can actually see the comment without me taking a picture of it with my phone. So like that's a good size for me.
You heard that, Tyrone? I don't know if you're paying attention, but I'm pretty sure Tyrone did that. Because I know I ain't touched nothing. Anyway,
Right. Oh, that's no shade to you, Jennifer. I'm just
but I
saying.
know what I know. I know my strengths and weaknesses. Okay, come on now. I
Jen
know
knows
what
what she brings to the table, honey. Okay, and technology is not
it's
one.
not. It's not one.
Same for me, girl. I'm like,
Okay.
I could work a tablet, I could work a computer, but ask me some intricate questions about them things. Shout out now.
Wow. Miss Robbins says, Genacita, Genacita, Genacita. Ole.
Yes. Ole.
Robin says, howdy, Joe Nathan.
Howdy, Auntie Robin.
Miss Kim says, Dochi tweeted that part of the song to Janet, and Janet responded to her. And so that, wow, I didn't know how it got to trend, but
Okay.
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 Yeah. Let me tell you something. For Janet to be connected on TikTok like that, she
Right.
has a good team.
Very much so. Absolutely. They got their ears to the streets, honey. They got their
Keeping her what?
ears
Relevant
to the
because
streets.
she could be out this window. You hear
She
me?
really could. I mean, last I heard, she was living overseas, and so you know, she really could remove herself from society altogether.
Okay.
Let us not forget that she did marry a billionaire, and ain't no
Exactly.
telling how much of that money is actually hers now. So you know,
And
hey, she
she's
don't need
doing
us.
show after show. She's being honored and things of that nature, and she's still relevant. She has a good team. And Robin says, "Hey, hey, tech support or Tyrone."
Yes, yes, that's him. That's Tyrone.
Okay, okay.
Ciao.
I know where I know where my bread and butter's at. Okay.
Okay, bread and butter. Butter.
P.S. Look, at this point, I heard you mention with the Amber Rose situation. Look at here. And I got my hands on my head with this one.
I see the attitude has entered the building, honey.
My problem, not my problem. I see that is my problem. I see her.
Mm-hmm.
She's apparently at the point where she just says stuff so that she can be seen, so that people can talk about her. There's her. You know how people talk about how you sell your soul.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Though we may have not seen her write her do like the Little Mermaid and sign her life away, sign her soul away or whatever,
Yeah.
but in every action that she's been doing, you can see that's exactly what she has done. It's another selling of if she stands for anything, we don't know what that is because she's never stood for anything. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Other
Exactly.
than being a slut and making sure that you can walk in your sluttiness with pride. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Not that that makes anybody a bad thing, but it's like I guess she attempted to try to take the shame away from that. But for her to be saying stuff like this, it's just proof that
Yeah.
all she's doing is being sure to say something that's adverse so she can be seen and so somebody can say something about her. So yeah, I'm over her. God bless her and all that she's doing and bless her sweet children. But she need to find something better. Miss Kim says, "Hey Robin, hey Dustin, hey tech support."
We love it.
Tyrone said, "Unveil Vibration says your certified IT support team gotcha." LOL.
Thank you so much, Tyrone. I appreciate it.
And JoJo Speak says, "Thank you, my brother."
Of course.
You didn't put that in there, right?
You know I didn't.
That's Tyrone playing games with our lives.
I,
Anyway,
per usual. Anyways, so big news. I'm going to get this Trump stuff out of the way first off, so y'all can y'all can do whatever you want, put it on mute, whatever you need to do. But I just have to speak on these things. So of course, Elon Musk is out. The Doge, a whole Doge thing has apparently been obliterated. No longer with us. Elon Musk apparently had the nerve to criticize his boss about this new spending bill that is trying to be passed in the Senate right now. And Elon tried to say, that ain't a good thing. Jennifer, go ahead.
so he's upset because Tesla's dying and they're about to kick him out of Tesla, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are saying that they stopped purchasing his vehicles or the Tesla vehicles because of what he was doing with Doge and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, the bulk of that the boycott came from overseas. And you want to know what he did to upset overseas?
What do you do?
He did that salute.
Oh, well,
A-
yeah,
And they take the Holocaust very seriously.
extremely
The way that
serious.
I wish they would take slavery over here seriously.
Right, right. Because
I digress.
we treat it as a thing of the past, which it is a thing of the past, but it clearly still affects us to this day.
Yes.
Clearly still affects us to this day.
Yes, and when you start to make gestures like that with such a horrible part of history,
We know where
they
you
act
stand.
quickly,
Yes.
which is why it started overseas, but and when he started to really start to do the Doge stuff, start to really make those changes, now you start to look crazy just for driving a Tesla out here in these streets.
And I'm so
So,
glad we're not seeing those Tesla trucks out here. Like I thought we would be seeing like Tesla trucks that we were seeing Dodge Chargers out here. But thankfully, that is not the case whatsoever. But also, President Trump has done quite a few pardons this week. He pardoned a former sheriff who was convicted of bribery. He has also pardoned his most popular pardoning took place when he pardoned the TV reality stars Todd and Julie Cressley, who were sentenced to I think it was 10 to 19 years. Julie was sentenced less than Todd was. He called their daughter. Hey, Mamir, thank you so much for being here. She says, "Good evening, everyone." So he called their daughters, and their daughter went on live, and she's so excited. And it's so interesting to me. Like I did not hear his reasoning for pardoning these fraudsters. Okay, these federally convicted
Felons.
felons. Uh, but the bribe from the sheriff came from the sheriff's mother having $1 million dinner with Trump in Mar-a-Lago. So I mean, hey, if you got the money to pay for a pardon, I mean, hey, you can do whatever it is you want to do, and you good to go. And someone has an issue with this, and his name happens to be Joe Exotic, aka the Tiger King. Y'all, if y'all haven't watched Tiger King, y'all really need to watch that. It's on Netflix. I watched it back in 2020. My good Judy Lolita, she told me to watch it. I had no interest in watching it whatsoever, but it's such an interesting story to see how these big cats affect these people, and how much money is in that. But Joe Exotic said, there's evidence that I'm innocent, and y'all just gonna let me die in here of cancer, and while these convicted felons are just running the streets. And part of me wants to feel sorry for Joe, because in a way he was sort of kind of railroaded, but at the same time he literally brought it on to himself, like literally asked for it. Like he said so many times how many times he wanted to take out Carol Baskins, like how many threats he made towards her, shooting dummies that were dressed like Carol and making music videos. He's had so many
That's
music
not
videos,
good.
child, not even singing himself in his music videos, had some other artists singing on his behalf. But anyways, I don't. Nothing that Donald Trump does anymore surprises me at all. Um, but I thought this was very interesting that he decided to pardon Todd and Julie Chrisley. Jennifer, what were your thoughts when you heard of these pardons going down? And why is it that you think he's doing this?
I just admire. He's just, because Trump is only doing the things that helps himself. So I'm sure there was some
Right.
kind of back end. He's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He's doing it for a reason. That's why. So I heard some people say he gonna try to get Diddy out, so he could try to get another black vote
The
somewhere.
black vote, yes. Okay, on a third term that he's still trying to
Okay,
get, but
and,
hey, it is
if
what it is.
if he pays enough money, he might be able to do something. We
Might
shall
be able
see.
to, because those are federal charges.
Because let's be real. If he got out, if he got off, I'm sure somebody's state gonna try to get him.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And if not, the arm of justice getting him.
Mm.
Somebody in the streets.
Absolutely. And also, a federal court has ruled against President Donald Trump making tariffs under emergency power law. Now, I said it on a show, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that that Joe Pete,
Mhm.
not Pete Buttigieg, but what is his name?
Cruz?
His Secretary of State. I can't remember what his name was. I know he's from Florida, but anyways, he said, no court can tell us what to do. And so I'm sure Donald Trump will not be abiding by these rulings. Even one of those judges, it was a 3-judge panel, and one of those judges was a Trump appointee, and it was a unanimous ruling against those tariffs. So,
Mhm.
child, it is what it is. But yeah,
JoJo Speaks says Pete Hexaker.
no, that's not who I'm thinking of.
Marco Rubio.
Yes, Marco Rubio. Thank you so much, Auntie Robin. Marco Rubio. He said that during a congressional meeting or congressional hearing, because the representatives were asking, why are you guys trying to jump over all of these rulings from these federal courts? And he said, can't nobody tell us what to do when you have you have pledged to abide by the Constitution, and yet you are not abiding by said
Constitution.
Constitution. Yeah. Anyways, Jennifer, any other thoughts on Donald Trump's things before we move forward?
No, I'll just give you the comments. Miss Kim says there are so many Teslas in my area.
Oh.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, Unveiled Vibration says It was only 130-day temp position. Elon Musk would have to go through the actual government application process to be eligible to work more than 130 days.
Oh, I had no idea. Okay.
Mamira says he pardoned the Chrisleys and they do not have to pay their restitution either. Yeah, millions. Um,
What?
that is, yeah, because of the pardon, it kind of
Right.
solves the whole
It
thing.
reverses the whole judgment. Right.
Exactly. That is too much leniency, in my opinion. At least make them pay their debts. Yeah.
And they admitted to it. Like they pled
Mhm,
guilty.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what?
So basically, what's going to be seen, I believe, in the future, I bet you they're gonna try to get them some other kind of way.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will because when the federal government don't get they pay, don't get they just do, they find a way. They will
We need
find a
the
way.
dollar bills, y'all. No matter how much Trump might have allegedly been paid to do this. Anyway, Unveiled Vibration says they found a loophole to pay Elon back for his campaign contributions to Trump administration. He
Wow.
didn't get all of his money. That's why he big mad at maggot. Oh Lord, he said maggots. Um, Miss Kim says the appeals court stayed that decision, so the tariffs will stay in place for now.
Gotcha.
Um, they alloc. What is that word? I don't know what that word is.
Allocated. That sounds like something that goes on in a court of law. I know it's a court term. I just don't know what it means.
Allocute. And I say some more stuff because Miss Kim says you sound low.
I sound low. Wait a minute. I don't. Oh yes, there's a volume button on my microphone. That's a little bit louder. I think. Do I sound
Okay,
louder, Jennifer?
well, that's for Miss Kim to answer because I hear you just
Oh.
fine.
Oh.
Um,
Oh. Okay. Okay.
and Miss Roberts says correct. Allocated.
Oh. Okay. All right. But yeah, it's a. Oh, and Donald Trump had the nerve to say that Canada is interested in being the 51st state
It's a
of
lie.
the United States. Like I just want to say, nigga, please. You know what I'm saying? Like what? For what?
At this point, you're just talking. Leave us alone, please.
Exactly. Please let us live our own lives and do your foolishness over there somewhere.
It means I admitted to the crime. Thank you, Miss Robin. God bless
Gotcha.
you.
Thank you so much
In the learning.
for our thesaurus words of the night, girl. Anyways, so the Diddy trial is still ongoing. We're in the third week. It began this week. And Diddy's former assistant, she goes by the moniker of Nia. She wanted to stay to stay. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Anonymous, yes. She wanted to remain anonymous, and she accused him of SA, of R, and addressed his relation.
Trigger warning.
Yes, trigger warning. She accused him of SA and R on a couple of different occasions. When asked, why she didn't tell anyone, she said that she planned on taking it to her grave. It's so interesting to me. And also, there was another man by the name of uh, Deontay
Mhm.
Nash. Deontay
Yes.
Nash. The defense asked him if he participated in criminal conduct for Mr. Combs, and he answered yes. He answered yes. If
The
that
defense
doesn't,
didn't expect that to they didn't expect that to come. Oh, child.
and what you don't do is ask a question you don't know the answer to already as a defense lawyer, because you have no idea what is going to come out of that
I
witness's
think
mouth.
I think they were told by their employer
Their client,
or
yes.
client that, oh no, I ain't never made him do nothing like that.
Right.
Okay, cool. And now y'all
Child, it's a mess. And are Diddy's kids, are they all still attending every day? Because I haven't been seeing pictures of them walking into the courthouse as of late.
I haven't been paying attention to that part, to be honest with you. I'm just looking at
Okay.
what's going on. Either way, God bless them. I know we would never get answers as to what they're hearing, how they're feeling about it,
Hmm.
but I can't imagine them being okay with everything, or maybe that's what they know. I think at least the boys know because,
Yeah.
anywho, I have words. Unveiled Vibration says all of these pardons are a distraction from the Trump big beautiful bill. They got some hidden things up in there, and they don't want the U.S. to know about it. And Robert said, "Anonymous,
Child.
you got the word." Robert Moore says, "Was Nash given immunity?" Yes.
He probably was. Yes,
Yeah,
I
he
could
was he
only
was given
assume.
immunity up front. That's the only reason why he testified, because they blessed him with that. Um, Unveiled Vibration says, "Hey, hey, hey. Don't you walk away without hitting that like button. Smash it." And Miss Kim says, "Diddy is a monster. If I if I just graduated high school, the last place I'd want to be is at my dad's trafficking trial."
Yes. And by the way, I loved his daughter's matching prom dresses that they wore to their prom. I loved those dresses. I
Yeah,
thought
so
those dresses looked
beautiful.
beautiful. And also congratulations to Cassie and her husband Alex
Did
Fine.
you hear the baby?
Uh, yes, yes. She
What?
reportedly welcomed their third child in a New York hospital. I saw that on the Shade Room.
What?
Yeah, yeah. So, and I heard that the defense was trying to subpoena Cassie to come back to the stand. They
They
really
were.
are.
They were.
They are really pushing for a mistrial. They're really pushing for this trial to be dismissed. And like, no matter how good your lawyers are, I mean, if the evidence is speaking so hugely against you, you can't win that case. You can't win that case. Well, unless your name is O.J. Simpson. But hey, it's on a regular basis, under regular circumstances. If you're guilty of the crime, you should be found guilty of said crime. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the developments of the case thus far? And I think that these questions that are being asked to these witnesses are really creating the vacuum that they need to display to show that Diddy is guilty of these charges that they've charged him with. And I'm getting more and more solidification that he more than likely will be found guilty. But Jennifer, what are your thoughts on this week's trial events?
Hearing from Mia, that was rather disturbing.
Very.
And everything that Deontay had to go through as well, it was a lot. Um, the things that they were saying, um, as they were testifying, a lot of it was damning, and I really am hoping that everything comes to a head. I know that, being that I love God, I know that He's going to get His due regardless, because
One way or another.
that's just the way of the world. That's just the way. Whether
Yes.
he gets let out or not, He's going to get his, which is why I'm not concerned. But having all of this come out, let's be real. Who's going to touch that man? Even if he walks away scot free, who's going to touch that man?
Who?
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 So, yeah, it's crazy, and to think there's more to come.
We only in week 3 of 8 to 10 weeks. Also, Capricorn Clark testified that Diddy broke into Kid Cudi's home and planned to take his life from him after finding out about Cassie and Cudi's relationship. And I thought that was very interesting, but it does not surprise me at all. When you have someone who has such a strong God complex, which Diddy has the strongest God complex that I've ever seen on any human being. Donald Trump is a close second. Um, just watching Making the Band, it just showed me who he was, like right out the bat. Like it just showed me who he was watching those 3 seasons of Making the Band. So that didn't surprise me whatsoever. I really wish that Aubrey O'Day would have taken the stand, because I know she would have spoken so freely. But she might not have been privy to as much things
That's the
as Dawn
difference.
was, and so
Yeah,
therefore, what could she really contribute to a testimony
exactly.
against him on that? So I understand that. But speaking of Diddy, Q from Day 26, I have to say Day 26 is one of my favorite all male groups. I think they're one of the most underrated R&B groups, because they weren't given a chance to truly blossom. But Q from Day 26, Day 26 had been doing a few interviews on Vlad TV for the past couple of years, and Q would always seem very, very somber or disturbed or something of that nature. It's clear that something was going
Yeah.
on with him. He was even crying in their last interview with Vlad TV, but he wouldn't confess why. But earlier this week on TJ Holmes and his, I'm not going to say that. I was about to say TJ Holmes and his side chick, but TJ Holmes and the woman he was found to be having an affair with from Good Morning America, they have a podcast. And so Q and Aubrey O'Day were on that podcast, and Q actually told the story of Day 26 and Danity Kane being invited out to the Hamptons, and he was still in a relationship with Dawn Richard at the time. Apparently, Dawn had given him a red pill, which he thought was, I think we can say the E word on YouTube, can't we?
Narcotics.
Yeah, he was given a narcotic that they had tried before, but he said that within 15 to 20 minutes he was unconscious, and then he woke up and he was in Diddy's twins' bedroom in the basement, and there were people with
The bedroom
flown.
in the basement. But go ahead. I kept on asking myself, like, why they got a basement bedroom? But go ahead.
Right. And child. Anyways, and he woke up to a couple of people around him pointing camera phones at him with flashes, and he said he remembers screaming at the top of his lungs like a little girl. His words, not mine. And he feels as though Diddy was trying to sacrifice him, and he felt like he was trying to take his life. Um, I understand now why Q is so traumatized. Traumatized. And like, I just want to give that man a hug. I just want to tell him, you are loved, my brother, and you are so talented, and you did not deserve what happened to you. But when you find yourself associating with people like Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy Combs, things like this are bound to happen. Just like, I watch a lot of true crime, and watching First 48 and things of that nature. A lot of these times these people find themselves in communication or in association with people that they have no business associating with, and that's a lot
Mm.
of times how those people end up getting unalived. And a lot of times, most of the time, you're the only person in your world, in your mind, and so you think that sometimes you feel as though you're invincible and those things can't happen to you or won't happen to you, and you'll be fine. But when rubber meets the road, sometimes it's too late. And I just want to send all of my love to Q from Day 26. I love his voice. I wish he would have gotten more solos on Day 26, but he was in a group of a lot of very good singing menses. So he didn't get the shine that I felt like he deserved. But I was just crushed. I wonder what gave Q the ability and the freedom to reveal this information. I'm assuming it's because Diddy is now seemingly going to be found guilty and is now on trial and really can't reach him like Diddy had to reach before. But Jennifer, what were your thoughts when you heard this story? Because I was just terrified for him. I can't imagine being in his shoes.
Yeah. What I heard, it sounded like, I wouldn't put it past her.
Yeah, like and the thing is, like, I do enjoy Dawn. Like, I do enjoy her. However, the fact that she decided to continue to work with Diddy after he fired Danity Kane, and years after he fired
And
Danity Kane.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I kept on going back to in my mind, Jonathan. The
Hmm.
fact that she came back, though it was a horrible it wasn't all that great of a situation and you were fired, but you were okay to bite the bullet and just go back. But why would you go back willingly? And it's like, is that the only way to have money? You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yeah,
Because that's all we kind of kept hearing about was, the money part,
yeah.
So it is I'm leaning more towards Q on this. Did you see the response from Dawn?
I did not. I saw that she did have a response, but I didn't actually see what it was. What was her response to that?
You're welcome. She stated,
Oh, I thought that's what she said. You're welcome. What?
"Oh no, I'm saying you welcome, okay, because I'm here."
Thank you. Thank you.
She says, she stated, quote, "I want to be unequivocally clear. I have never drugged anyone, nor have I ever given anyone pills to take." Dawn emphasized that if Q genuinely believed that she had drugged him, it would be inconsistent with subsequent actions, such as inviting her to his home and introducing her to his family. If such a belief were genuine, she added, it would be inconsistent with the actions that followed. Uh, like that.
Okay. And Q did make sure to mention that Dawn did say that Diddy gave her the pill for him to take. So it wasn't actually Dawn. I guess I'm
Yeah,
assuming it wasn't
I don't
actually
believe.
Dawn's idea. It wasn't Dawn drugging him.
Yeah.
She was just the she was just the advocate or the middleman in the whole situation. And I'm assuming that it would be kind of weird for a grown man to hand another grown man a pill to take, especially a pill like that, like what he thought
Mhm.
it was, which it clearly was not what he thought it was. But
And I personally believe that Don thought it was what he said it was, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
exactly, exactly, yeah.
So, but I s whether whatever, I still kinda I've always not had the most positive of eyes going towards Dawn.
In your opinion, she's guilty by association.
Uh, in my opinion, her actions make me question her.
Mm,
Um, let's see. Unveiled Vibration says, "Get ready for the plot twist. There's more. Tyrone is in the diddling bad boy next month. Oh Lord,
mm,
the stories get darker. I believe it because I truly believe Cassie was just there to set the stage and also to get her out the way so she could have her baby.
exactly.
Um, Miss Kim says day 26 was has 5 lead singers. Those men can
Yes,
sing.
yes.
I knew something happened to Q. Second season was of making the band. He was really going through something. Yeah.
He was. He was. It was so
Um,
sad to watch too. I hated that.
Miss Kim also says if Diddy was forcing Cassie to arrange freak offs, it's not hard to believe he was forcing Dawn to do things as well. It I agree with that. And of course, like she saw enough for her to be able to speak. So who knows whatever she might have or have not done. And also on top of it, here's a thought. If okay, with what happened, for her to say, well, if that's what happened, then why would he bring me around the house? There's a big chance, and from what it sounded like, it didn't sound like he was speaking malicely towards, Dawn. It sounded like that's just where he got that pill from, whether she knew what it was or not, or what the plans were for that situation. I don't believe he was kinda making it seem like she knew. I don't think that that was the case. At least I don't feel like that.
Mm,
And, of course, y'all were still in the relationship afterwards.
right.
Why would that mess up y'all relationship? So,
Especially if he didn't think that she was that she was the culprit in him, being assaulted
exactly.
like that.
I'm
So
trying
yeah,
to figure I think and see, this is why, Jonathan, I'm looking at her weird because she could have said, um, "Yes, she could have said, "Yes, that happened. I did not know what I was giving him." and just left it at that.
A hit dog will holler.
And she's hollering, Jonathan.
She's hollering, y'all. She is hollering. And again, like, because I was such a big fan of Danity Kane and because I supported them when they made their return, it 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 surprised me that Aubrey was willing to work with her again. Like that now knowing the things that I know now, but I'm thinking that Aubrey just
But
wanted to
this
get
is
to the
where the
bag.
money but this is where the money is. They want Danny
Exactly.
Kane.
Right. Yeah.
They don't want Aubrey. They want
Yeah.
Danny Kane.
Exactly. So it's just disheartening to hear. And once again, no one deserves what happened to Q. No one deserves that whatsoever. And to be put through that type of terror is something that no one deserves to have to go through.
Mm.
So once again, my condolences to Q
And I
for.
forgot to mention oh, go ahead, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
Oh yeah, my thoughts and prayers are with Q, and I do hope that he finds peace. I just want him
Mhm.
to find peace within himself and understand that he is okay just the way that he is.
And continue with therapy and things of that
Right.
nature to make
Because
things
when
good.
you have men who want to take advantage of you because they like the because I believe that Diddy wanted Q is a fine man, okay? That's a number one. Q is a fine man, and so it does not surprise me that Diddy might have tried to. I don't know, but hey, Jennifer, what were you going to say? Because I'm
Oh,
getting some time.
I just wanted to, quickly mention that, I heard that Diddy, requested that he be able to meet with his team after every, court session,
Hmm.
until 10 PM.
He just don't want to go back to that cell. That's all that is. He don't want to go
No.
back to that cell.
I heard some people saying that, that's because, that's nothing new for him because, all of the people testified, they work day, night, night, day, night, night, day.
That's true. No sleep.
And it's like, I'm sure his, legal team want to go home too, and
Of
maybe
course.
he's
Did
trying
he
to
don't
get
care?
Diddy to go home.
Did he don't give a damn? He don't give a damn.
Agreed,
Any other
agreed.
comments before we move forward, Genesita?
So we're good.
So I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I believe it was a year ago that Monique, the comedian Monique's son, came out and spoke against Monique and her lack of seeming love and or care for him in the times that he needed it most was lacking. And he has now come out and apologized to both Monique and her family, saying that my family did not deserve the backlash they received. And so he said in this statement that he did still feel what he felt at that time. However, he felt as though he was out of line for making it public. So
Okay.
he didn't go back on his words. Those words still and yet are true and were true at that time. However, he feels as though he should not have come out and said those things because of all the backlash that Monique and her family received. And they Monique posted pictures of her with her son. So apparently they have reunited, they have reconciled, and I am for reconciliation of any kind. However,
Comma.
um, However, when Sydney is in the midst, something in the milk is always going to be tainted. So I just hope now Monique's son seems to be an intelligent enough man to know better. So I can only I can't put my finger
Child.
on why he did it because I want to say that it had to be Sydney who told him to do this, but if that would have been the case, then I think he would have done this a whole lot longer ago.
Ooh,
At least in my opinion. I think he may have had a conversation with Monique and maybe they just came back together. I don't know. But I was surprised to see that he apologized. But I do applaud him for doing that because really no one really deserves I know there's no telling how many horrible things were said to Monique and her family as a result of what her son revealed to the world. I mean, this social media game is real dirty, real nasty, real ugly. So ain't no telling how many things, how many horrible things were said to Monique and them, and that's more than likely the reason why he's apologizing. And I can respect him for that. I just hope that he's not getting sucked in. I just hope he's not getting sucked in. That's my hope and prayer, that he's not getting sucked into the BS. Jennifer, were you surprised by this announcement? Did this surprise you? Because it definitely surprised me.
Well, you know what? Surprise may not be the word, but I certainly didn't see it coming.
Okay.
Looking at the posts and stuff like that, it just all looks like photo ops.
Okay.
It it doesn't seem as genuine as I'd love it to be.
Exactly.
But and that's just saying that's what it seems like to me. I don't know. I don't know if it's genuine or not. But the fact that I question it a little bit, it
Says
you
something.
know, yeah.
Right.
So, but who am I? Ms. Kim says Monique defers to Daddy, aka Sydney, on everything. Exactly.
Everything, Miss Kim. Everything.
And
I
I
was, going- I
I
was
I
about to
didn't
say,
see.
can I take a shit, Daddy? Like, you know, everything, y'all. Go ahead, Jennifer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut
All
you
I
off.
could think of is I do appreciate the fact that he did not take back what he said, because what he
Yes,
was talking about was some
absolutely.
real stuff. And if we want to live in the truth and be happy, we still need to acknowledge the things that have happened and the way that they made you feel. So I agree with that. Um, to be skipping around in fields after that and
Hmm.
having all of those pictures and stuff, it just
It seems so fake. It just feels so
yeah. Why
fake.
does it have to be out there? I believe the apology is enough to be out there because you did the stuff in the
Exactly.
foreground.
Right.
Say the apology in the foreground. I get that, but it's the pictures that bother me. It's like that's the biggest smile ever on in life. Like, you know how I feel when it feel like people smiling like really hard, like they're trying to force joy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes.
That's what it feels like to me. Once again, who am I? God bless her. God bless the
Mhm.
family and everything. But I hope that it's all genuine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So earlier this, oh, any comments before we move forward, Jennifer?
Go ahead.
Earlier this week, I was about to say Casey, Cameron, and Mace, they discussed the prenuptial agreement following Travis Hunter's wedding, and they discussed prenups. And this has been a subject in 90 Day Fiance, and that's why I wanted to bring this subject up, because me personally, I support prenuptials in certain situations. I feel as though are valid, because
Mhm.
if you find yourself being a very rich person and find yourself falling in love with someone who may not be as financially stable as you are, you may not know them on that level. You may not know them well enough. I don't want to say you don't trust them, but you just don't know them well enough. And so you take that precaution to protect yourself. And so I feel as though if I meet a rich man and he asks me to sign a prenup, I'm signing on the dotted line. Like I'm signing, and I can understand why you're asking me to do this, because we may not be at that point where you are on that level to where it's one thing if you're like a LeBron James, where you've been going with this girl since high school, and I don't expect him to have a prenup. But if you're someone like Bill Belichick, who's got this new, this new young thing that he's passing around town or whatever, not passing around town. Oh Lord, child. Anyways, just might be, but ain't no selling. Anyways, like if you're in that type of situation, I understand why Bill Belichick would ask that woman to sign a prenuptial agreement. Now, when it comes to like 90 Day Fiance and them talking about prenuptial agreements, I think it's laughable. Like for what? Like for what? But I guess their reasoning may be valid in their mind. And as long as it's valid in your mind, who cares what others have to think about it? But I feel as though, although it does send a message of distrust to a certain extent, and I can understand why that distrust will be thought of. However, at the end of the day, when you make a certain amount of money and you've worked so hard to get yourself to that space, I feel as though you have the right to ask your significant other to sign a prenuptial agreement. And I think that just comes with the game. It just comes with that, rich marrying other than rich kind of thing going on. Like I support that. Now, once again, like if I marry just some old hood boy from the streets and he's asking me to sign a prenup, I'll be like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? But if you're in that type of situation, I get it. And for you to say that's a lack of trust, well, if you don't think I trust you, then maybe we shouldn't be getting married at all. Bye. There's the door. Okay. Jennifer, what are your thoughts on these types of situations and prenuptial agreements? What are your thoughts? I've never heard you talk about this before.
Well, I used to really feel strongly against them until I started really understanding how you should be able not okay. If you are presented with a prenup, I would not be totally upset, especially if you love a person. It's
Right.
like, I wouldn't be upset, but one thing I would do is make sure my lawyer looks over it as well,
Mhm.
because it's also about protecting yourself.
Absolutely.
Um, I've seen because like even Beyonce got a prenup, child.
Yeah.
So and like having cheating clauses and things of that nature, you're
Hmm.
basically holding people accountable. So to be honest, and especially in areas of high monies and things of that nature, I say take the prenup, read thoroughly through the prenup to see if you have any protection through the prenup,
Hmm.
and then take it to your lawyer so you can get some amendments up in there.
Right.
So, I say prenups are cool as long as you can see that you are protected as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that answer. That answer is so political, but at the same time, it's just still the truth. It's still your
It's
truth.
it's
And
it's true. And
right.
even if the boy from around the way gave you a prenup, okay, let's look at what we got here, okay? Because you know, if as long as you read, you'll be able to see where
What
the
it
rate
is they're
is
asking
going.
for. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you see that there's no protection for you, now that will be like, now, okay, now, all right, now,
Hmm.
add in your stuff so that you can be protected as well. So I would look at it as an opportunity, to be honest with you. Now, if Tyrone gave me a prenup, I don't tell nobody. I think I would chuckle a little bit, but still, I would. Okay, cool. Um, because we both coming in with a whole bunch of what? Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, I
Okay.
didn't mean to agree like that. I'm sorry.
No, it's true. You would have. When we came back from our from our honeymoon, we came to the house, and
Right.
that house
Yeah.
was full of what gifts and stuff like that. Like,
Do y'all still have your wedding cake? Because I remember that wedding cake being in
I
that
don't
freezer for
know.
the longest.
No,
Yeah.
no. I don't even know
Yeah.
why I held on to it because I wasn't about to eat it. Let's keep that funky. Anyway,
Thank you so much for your feedback on that. Anyways, to round this thing on out, thank you, Miss Kim. Miss Kim sent me a post um, from Miss Britt Eady's from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
ooh,
Her
child.
her event planner, her party promoter, whatever the case might be. So if you guys missed the most recent episode of Housewives of Atlanta, Britt was holding an event to celebrate the launch of her Bare Naked or Go Naked shapewear. She's selling shapewear. Um, and she had this event at a country club where there was golfing involved. And, she had a lot of people there, other than the women from the show, and apparently the people who were working the event, like the event planner, were told to only have the girls themselves on the cast eat, and they were to only eat little things like hors d'oeuvres. Like they didn't have no entrees, no steak, no chicken, no nothing like that. No, just little side little dishes or whatever the case might be.
Child,
And the event planner had to come out and say the reason why there was a lack of food is because of the budget. The budget. Brit
the
didn't
lack
have
of budget.
the lack of moolah, baby. Okay. I am ready for these girls to eat Brit Edie alive during this reunion. When I saw Kelly talk about Brit being so fake on Watch What Happens Live, that tells me that these girls have something to say. And I feel as though, although it doesn't exonerate Kenya, I feel as though more
It certainly
grace should
helps.
be given to Kenya because, in my opinion, Kenya was right in that whole thing. Not right to
She
expose
went too
her the
far,
way that
but
she did. She went too far. However, Kenya had the right idea about Brit when she met her. And
mhm.
yeah, thank you so much, Miss Kim, for sending me that tea. But like Brit, for her to try to be something that she is clearly not, like we should have known something when she was threatening Kenya with a pew pew for nothing. Kenya was paying her dust. Kenya wasn't even talking to the girl, and she got out of pocket like that. Like, girl, you are like Lisa from Married to Say, you're a hood rat from Nashville, Tennessee. Like that's all Brit is. She's just nice and primmed up and pretty looking and lives in a nice house. I still don't know how she gets her money. And as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't seem like her husband is interested in her whatsoever. But hey, that's just what I see. That's just what I see. But I will say though, I was a little apprehensive about Phaedra coming back. However, Phaedra coming back in the most recent episode showed me that Phaedra is an equal opportunity shader. She got shade for everybody. She's not taking, doesn't seem like at this point, I don't know, it remains to be seen, but it doesn't seem like Phaedra's trying to take sides in this deal. And I can only hope that Phaedra sees Portia for who she is. However, I feel as though Phaedra already sees Portia for who she is and
Thank
understands
you.
who Portia is,
And she
and is
played a
just
game as
playing.
such.
She's playing the game as such. So I'm not expecting for Phaedra to come for Portia, but I think it would be so beautiful if Phaedra were to come for Portia because
You can't get your feelings hurt when you don't have a true friendship with the child.
exactly that's true as well. But yeah, it's and Cynthia just got up and walked out. Like Cynthia was like, I'm done with this. I ain't got no business being here. Like that event was a mess, and I
Grown.
cannot wait for Andy to not only lay this question up at the reunion, but
I think I'm
what is
actually
his
gonna watch the reunion. Just
please,
just just
just to see, because this has been, in my opinion, one of the best seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta in a
long
long,
time. Yeah.
long time. And these girls are bringing it. But as I've said in my reviews in past, don't bring Brit back. Please don't bring Portia back. And please don't bring who else I don't want to come back. Brit, Portia, I like Shamia, I like Kelly. Uh, yeah,
Drew?
that's it. Yes, Drew. Thank you. Britt, Portia, and Drew do not need to return for season 17 at all. Jennifer, have you been seeing the videos of that event, or have you
Of
heard of it? Like,
course.
what
Let
what,
me
what are
tell
your
you
what
something.
what are your
Ah,
thoughts, my love? What you got to
uh,
say?
on TikTok, once again, TikTok keeps me in the know. But yes, it sounds like all that child had to do was bring them around the house, have a really good cookout, and like have the event planner do a cookout at their house. That's freeing up budget right there.
Exactly.
And it's freeing up food because if you can have somebody just to make the food that you purchased there,
Mm-hmm.
freeing up budget. They could have had some really cute little situations. It might not have been, like high tier, chef quality, but at least everybody would be eat because the problem is when you bring somebody to an event, people expect to eat, not to have
Expect
to find some
to
place to
eat.
eat after I leave from here.
Okay. Okay.
That's
AKA
the biggest
Erin
one.
from Housewives of New York, where she just had them hors d'oeuvres at her event on the previous season.
Girl, where's the
And and
food?
and Sai had to leave and go eat something else because they ain't have no food for her, girl. Like
And they were at the house.
at the house.
Do you want us to eat? What did you think that we wouldn't be hungry? That
Girl.
that makes me upset. But people, I guess when it comes to spending money, people are not really considering what people would want or expect or making people happy. Look, y'all gonna get what y'all get. That's what it feel like they were saying.
Okay.
But yeah, I heard it was trash.
It
Miss
was
Kim
T-Rash.
Miss Kim says Brit looked a mess. Her event was a mess. Her shapewear business is a mess. She could she couldn't even get the name of her business right. And to be honest, the shapewear train has certainly gone out of the station. There have
Okay.
been way too many shapewear, the thing that's tuck you in, all that. Everybody named Mama. To be honest, I feel like the last relevant one was a little Lizzo's.
Okay.
People are
Okay.
still getting Lizzo's shapewear and stuff, but it's like, girl, that train is find something fresh, to find something new because that is so like 2 to 5 years ago. Nobody's
Right.
doing it no more.
That
You
is
be
so
better off.
2020.
Okay, you be better off doing joggers. Okay,
Okay. Lifestyle.
lifestyle,
Okay. Summer, spring,
fall,
January,
winter.
October.
Miss Kim says you're welcome, Jonathan, and Dustin says I'm not a big fan of Portia. Don't want to see her back next season at
Me,
all. That's just
me
my
either,
opinion.
Dustin. Me either.
All right.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us for this by Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. This went by so well. Oh my gosh. This was a good show, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Jennifer, why don't you go ahead and give us your social media contacts real quick before we get out of here?
Absolutely. I am Delight the Leo, connected to Faithful Warrior Ministries. First, follow me at TikTok as well as on Instagram and of course on YouTube. At the Light of the Leah. Go ahead, subscribe on YouTube, and of course, follow me on TikTok and things of that nature. Be my friend. I repost a lot of really great videos, and you'd love what I repost. Um, and also, please join us this Saturday and every Saturday at 10 a.m. for Faithful Warrior Ministries, where we come together and we pray and we enjoy connecting with Christ together. I'm done.
All righty. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $JonathanLee07. That's $JonathannLee07. You guys, please be sure once again to check out my review for Housewives of Atlanta season 16, episode 12. That is out and available on my channel. Also, later this week, I will be posting my review for RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10, episode 5. That's coming out this week. It'll be released tomorrow, so I should be having my video out no later than this coming Monday. I'll probably post it on Sunday.
And Miss Kim says, "How is she selling shapewear when her own outfit's too damn small?"
Okay, and that behind to leg ratio on that BBL child is it's a little crazy, look a little ridiculous. You shouldn't be seen in bathing suits and things that are not covering that lack of ratio up, honey.
Esther says, "Have a good night. Love you all."
Have a good night, Dustin. Love you. Love you guys for watching. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Join us next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. Hope y'all have a wonderful week. Stay safe out there. Love you guys for watching. See you guys later. Bye.